Are young. Oh, again.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll wake it up.
So, man, what's it do?
That's got a, I don't know.
What's it do?
We need an IT guy. We got him. He's here.
He's here. Get on it.
The following is a paid program. This is the Straight to Ale Swim, Bike, Run Alabama show, promoting swimming, biking, and running events all over North Alabama. Here are your hosts, Parker Edmiston and Doug Tinkham.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Swim, Bike, Run Alabama, sponsored by Straight to Ale, local brewery right here in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm Parker Edmiston, and I've got my co-host, Doug Tinkham, with me again this week.
And Allie Meeks is back in studio. She took a sabbatical for the last couple of weeks, but we're glad to have her back.
Well, everyone knows Allie's from the ReadySetSweat.net, a coach extraordinaire in the pool and other places. And we're going to talk Allie a little bit today about how she got into triathlons. Allie, tell us about how you got in.
Well, I've always been a swimmer. I swam in college, well, high school first, then in college. And then I had a friend who dared me to run a marathon. She said, my mom ran a marathon. Do you think you could run one with me? So I said, sure, why not? So then I got into that. And then I thought, gosh, I've got swimming, I've got running. Why not just pick up a bike?
So what college and what marathon?
So it was Miami University of Ohio. And the marathon was the
Miami
Big Sur
of Ohio.
of
in
Ohio.
Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right,
Impressed.
not Florida. Do you know Miami was a university before Florida was a state? They're very
Wow.
proud of that fact. So,
Okay.
yes, and then it was the Big Sur International Marathon in California that goes along
You have
the
been
Pacific
all
coast.
over this country, haven't you?
Yes, much as possible.
So you got into it on a dare of someone who's wanting you to run, and you pick up a bike. And tell us about that first event. How did it go for you?
Well, the first event was kind of a small race. It was in a little town called Cimarron, New Mexico, where I was working at the time at a scout ranch called Philmont. And it was just kind of put together by the locals, and I used my mountain bike. It was a specialized rock hopper. And I just rode that thing, as fast as I could, and I won the race. It was
Wow.
great. It was like five
That's
people
the
in
way
it,
to
so
start. Do you have any other wins?
that might be the only one.
Oh, never tell.
Never start high.
Yeah. Well, never tell anybody how many folks were in the race
That's
or in
true.
your race group.
Yeah.
Because I won it.
I won the
You know,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I was very proud.
So from there, you decided, and you got the bug, I guess. And where'd you go from there?
Yeah, from there I had started meeting friends that were interested in triathlon. I had one friend from Philmont, from New Mexico, David Becca, who was very much involved in triathlon at Northern Arizona University. And he encouraged me to kind of look into getting a real bike, a road bike or a tri-bike, and just becoming more familiar with what it's like. And just the idea that it was not intimidating was something that he said to me over and over again. Come on, just everyone does it. You don't have to be fancy to do it. So,
But you are fancy.
yes, now and then.
People have come on before and talked about, their first triathlon. And I think for almost everyone, they borrow someone's bike.
Absolutely.
Or they have a bike that's not right for the venue, but they go out and they do it. And you catch the bug. I mean, it's so easy to catch the tri-bug.
And you
So-
don't have to have fancy gear. You just need to have a love for the sport.
So then you got into Ironman. Tell us about that.
Well, I progressed through a number of different triathlons of various distances. I had done several times a half that's out in Bend, Oregon, called the Pacific Crest Half Ironman, or half distance. And it was really tough. It has one of the coldest swims out that way. It has a very difficult bike up over a couple mountain passes and a super hot run. So I thought, well, it doesn't get any worse than this. And did that 2 or 3 times all the time, thinking this is so incredibly difficult, I can never do something longer than this. And then by the 3rd or 4th time, I finally decided, okay, maybe Ironman, maybe. I think maybe. And I got a training plan together and didn't follow it, but at least had an idea of what I needed to do and signed up for Ironman Canada, which at that time was in Penticton, BC. So we went up there and did it.
So
Did you win that one?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Oh,
No.
fantastic.
It was before the internet, so
No,
you
I
can't
did
check.
not win it.
So the distance from the early sprint or thereabouts to the Ironman, how long did it take you to progress that?
That's a good question. I think it was at least a couple of years. I want to say it was 2 to 3 years. Not to say everyone has to do that, but that was my journey.
Well, 2 or 3 years is pretty compressed for most athletes, but that tells us what kind of an athlete that you are. So Ironman, you did the one, and have you done any more?
Yes, I loved Ironman Canada. It was fantastic. And so I took a break for a while and got excited about doing Ironman Florida for 2 reasons. One, I'm not much of a bike climber. I don't have a lot of power, so I thought, hey, flat course. And then signed up for Ironman Florida and did that. And the second reason I wanted to do that was because it was at the beach. So did that one and then became interested in going back to the mountains and came back for Ironman Coeur d'Alene several years later in Idaho.
I've done Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Done them all.
Beautiful
It
course.
is.
Yeah, beautiful
It's a
course.
great course.
Now
Yes,
that's also a code swim, as I remember, Coeur d'Alene.
It is. That's right. Well, one of the things I did in between Coeur d'Alene and the Bend Half Ironmans was I did the Alcatraz Triathlon out in San
Oh, you
Francisco.
did that one.
Now that's some cold water.
Yeah.
I want to say that was like 54 degrees or something. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, that's one, should be on almost everybody's to-do list. Their bucket list, go out there and do Alcatraz, but very hard to get into it.
Yes, I got in by lottery, so I got very lucky. It was a wonderful day, though. Great race.
Our friend Joe
I was
Olson
just
did
going to
that
say,
a couple years
Joe
ago.
did that.
So listen, Allie, a remarkable career, many things ahead of you. We appreciate you coming into the show today, and thank you for being a regular guest. And we will see you next week, and we'll talk to everyone else after this break.
Just because my composure sort of slips the moment that your lips meet mine, chances are you think my heart's your Valentine.
You're live, Parker.
Of course I am. I'm
Welcome
breathing, baby. I'm
wel-
alive.
Welcome to Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama. Brought to you by Straight to Ale, which I have not been in yet.
Straight to Ale is, of course, our sponsor of this program. But on this segment, we have Christy Graves from the Juice Bar.
Hello, guys.
Hey, welcome back, Christy. A couple weeks ago, or a week or so
week
ago,
ago.
we had our friend Doug Tinkham delve into the
12?
all right
Delve.
delve.
I
Uh,
delved into
you
the
know,
world
English-
of juicing.
English is our second language, Doug.
Our first being.
Espanol. So anyway, Doug decided that he was going to do a juice cleanse. He'd heard you, Christy, talk about the benefits of it. Doug, tell us about that.
Well, we have to go back in time to the first time I walked into the juice bar, and I was afraid of juice and all things juicing. And Christy brought me a smoothie, and it was most delicious. So I thought it was time to up my game, and I did the 3-day cleanse, and it was an interesting experience. It was not as difficult as I thought it would be.
Well, tell us, how did she set you up? She's talked about, the types of juices that you would get and how many you were going to do a day.
It was 6 a day for 3 days, and there was a breakfast juice. I think it was like I'm sorry, what did I get wrong?
So you had 6 juices a day, and you had to drink the juices, and what in between?
You took two jars of water per jar of juice, and I never really was hungry, but I did find that my affection for meat grew.
Well,
I did miss bacon and steak and all those things, but when I was through with it, I felt good, and I actually did what Christy told me not to do, and that was train during this process. So the wheels kind of fell off there at the end.
well, because you didn't listen to directions.
I didn't listen to directions.
And I
That's
remember
right.
Christy specifically saying that
Specifically.
you're on a low-calorie or lower calorie than what you're used to. And certainly the volume of training that Doug does, you can't do both, can you, Christy?
No, I mean, I really recommended that he that he just take 3 days off. But I mean, he kind of told me he didn't think it was going to happen. But really, it's designed as a period to rest your body. And
Coach Borden would not have
Well-
agreed with that.
Well, did you
Taking
ask her?
3
Yeah, did you
No, I
ask her
didn't.
for
He
a
wouldn't-
note?
No.
I know you didn't ask him that.
No,
you could
he
do
wouldn't
it.
have agreed with that either.
But I would have asked Christy for a note for Coach.
get out a training free card. 3
Exactly.
days.
And-
No, it was an interesting experience though, and I would do it again.
So the first couple of days you thought were pretty good. You really weren't.
I was more of the 2-day juice cleanse kind of guy. After 2, I probably had not trained could do it again. But when I woke up that morning, I knew that 2 days was it for me.
What about the flavors? Did you like the flavors?
I did. I didn't like the fresh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Was it?
common.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
that's really common. I think the more you juice, your body kind of adjusts to it. But there's nothing in there to make it sweet at all. It's just all
okay.
vegetables, so that's common.
May I say that I loved day number 3 juices?
Yeah.
Because he gave them to me.
That's what he said when he brought his
Yeah.
jars back to me. Yeah, he
He said,
told
"You're
me.
missing 6 jars."
You know, when you go to someone for advice and you go on to get their expertise in something, you're supposed to listen. And I think that's a
Yeah.
great lesson for folks that are
Absolutely.
going to cleanse is you listen to Christy, you listen to the staff there, and you follow what they say.
It was a great jumping off point, though, to get back to eating healthy, which was the reason
And
that I
that's
did it.
yeah, that's really what it's designed for. I mean, and like I said, I mean, it really is just a time to refocus on your nutrition and I mean, really rest your body. Let your body kind of just rest and recharge. And understand with your training process, it's a little bit more difficult to do that.
It was
Well-
fun, though. I would suggest it. It's
Well,
crazy. Do something different.
Doug said that he lost a couple pounds. He was
7.5 pounds.
7.5 pounds, and he
Yes.
was looking again to kickstart his nutrition. And he's back and stronger than ever. And we can attribute that to Christy's advice there at the juice bar. Everyone who wants to get on the juice wagon, go down and see her, Christy Graves, at the juice bar down on Whitesburg Drive. Christy, thanks for being here today, and we look forward to your visit next week.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week.
We'll be back after these messages.
You're our best paying client ever.
Physio works, and
Yeah, Dawn told me.
Okay, cool.
You got some more stand up to do?
Number 1, segment number 3.
Sorry about that.
Is Fleet Feet here yet? Cool. Who's here?
Jennifer and
Cool.
some old dude.
Michael Rogers.
Mike Rogers.
Cool.
Is that Bill Rogers' father?
Yeah.
Other lawyers.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another segment on Swim Bike Run Alabama, sponsored by Straight to L. We're on WTKI here in Huntsville, WEKI in Decatur. I'm Parker Edmiston with my co-host Doug Tinkham, and we have a special guest in studio, and that's Dana D. Dana
Say
D.
it for us.
DeBartoleben.
Wow.
Bartolay.
Ben.
It's been
I practiced yesterday. It
That's
did
right,
no
yeah.
good.
it's been years and years and years, and she is Dana D.
Dana D.
Dana, you're here today to talk to us about this great training program you have for kids. You are a coach,
That's great.
and you've sort of gone into an area of coaching that's really needed in our community, and that's coaching kids. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah. So I coach adults, but I don't have room for adults. But I love
Kids
working
are
with
smaller.
kids.
They're easier to
Kids are
pack in.
Yes, that's right. You can get more of them in at one time. So I have a kids team, and that's for training, and then I have kids club. That's for kids that don't want to train, like most of us. We just want to go out and do the races and socialize and
Do you have a big
fun.
kids club?
That's right. Yeah, it's called Team Rocket Tri Club. But the kids club is the same thing. It's just like Team Rocket Tri, but it's for kids.
Okay. Well, Dana, of course, has a website, danatrains.com/kids. You can go on that website and you can find out all the different programs that she has. And so you've got the club for kids and you've got the teams for kids. What can a parent expect when they go on the website as far as what do you provide these kids for training?
So the club itself doesn't have any training time. That's just for socializing. There are 3 separate teams. One of them is for kids that only want to train once a week. One of them is for older kids that are maybe a little bit more competitive, and they train up to 4 times a week. And then there's a teen team called Triple Threat, and that is for kids that are 13 to 17 years old, and they train 3 to 4 times a week.
And so the kids and the parents that go on there and look at the website, is there a profile or is there an application that they fill out to sort of give you an idea of where they fit in that mix?
That is correct. So if you go on to danatrains.com/kids, it's really well lined out for the green team, blue team, the triple threat team, and the club. They go on and fill out the form to give me information about their child, about what kind of athlete they are. For the green team, they have to actually try out. I want to make sure that those kids know how to swim, they can work well in a group, they can take instruction well, and that they really want to be there. Because some parents want their kids to be there more than the kid wants to be
Yeah,
there.
I can't get my kids to do anything.
Yeah. So if you can't, then usually.
So which
I'm
team
not
are they
gonna-
on?
They're on the club.
Ah.
They're in the Come
That's just
Socialize.
The kicking and screaming team.
Well, that's
Yeah,
just the hanging
that's right.
out and just socializing. There's a need for that.
That's right.
Now, kids that are just getting into the tries or just getting into training, I guess they really don't know what they want to do at times.
That's right. And so that is the time for them to come out, for parents to bring their child out, because I am so passionate about triathlon. Usually I can infect kids with that passion. So yeah, they need to come out to the club activities, get involved with the kids that are doing triathlon. And some of these kids have maybe never done a triathlon before, but they know how to swim, or they kind of know how to swim. They have a bike, and they probably don't like to run, because most kids don't like to run. But then they come out and they have fun. We play games. I give them drills that are disguised as games. They have fun, and they are becoming more fit and learning more about triathlon in the process.
The drills my dad used to have some of those.
I'm thinking more about the dental drill.
Well, no.
Dental drill.
Disguised
That's
as
right.
fun.
Disguised as fun.
Dad used to come out on the porch and get the kids out and throw quarters out in the yards, and we'd go out and pick it up, and about 9 months later, I'd have a baby brother or sister. So I guess it's probably
No, last time you told that it was nickels.
it was I gave Dad a little more credit than what he deserved. So kids coming out to the club, and they see then and start hanging out and talking to the other kids who are training. Is it all swim, bike, and run,
I was
or
gonna
do
ask that,
some
yeah.
folks do? Some kids just do swim, some kids just do run, or is there a combination?
So all of the kids that are going to be on the green team, that's the more competitive team, they are swim, bike, run, transition, and strength and conditioning. Those kids, that group of kids, get strength and conditioning training through Iron Tribe Fitness on Woodson Avenue.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's included in the price of training. But then I have some other parents who have told me, well, my child is on swim team, so they're not going to come to the swim practices, and that's fine. They'll need to get their swimming time in, separate from the club practices or the team practices. But most of them are going to come out and do all three. And transition is a big thing that we do.
What feedback, even on these individual segments of your training, what feedback and how often do the parents get feedback from you on how their kids are progressing?
Pretty much every single practice.
Every race.
Every race, that's right. How are they doing?
That's the report card.
That's the measuring stick.
If they place in their age group, then they get to sleep inside the house, and if not,
Unfortunately, that's probably the case for some kids, but no, we don't encourage that at all.
then, yeah. I guess it's just encouraging them to be active, and that's the big goal.
That's right. When I first started doing triathlon, I equated my performance, or I used the measuring stick of a race for my performance. And if I didn't do really well against other competitors in a race, then I felt like I didn't do very well at all. I've learned what it means to run your own race. And if I go out and training and give my best, and then go out to the race and give my absolute best, then I have won that race. I may not have beaten the other competitors, but I've won. And I want to teach that to the kids. I want to teach the kids how to give their very best and what that means.
Well, I guess the kids are no different than adults who
Just
go
smaller.
into triathlons rather, and that we all have different goals.
That's
And-
right.
And some of us enjoy the process. We enjoy the socializing as part of our training and our races, and the kids are the same way.
They are.
Well, listen, Dana, we appreciate you coming in. Parents who are interested in having their kids become active and get involved with a structured training group, go to danatrains.com/kids. Look at the website. It's very helpful and very informative. And thanks, Dana, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back after these messages on Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama.
Or young pro.
Lots of information. Good job.
You didn't sound nervous at all.
Welcome back, everybody, to another segment, Swim, Bike, Run, Alabama, sponsored by Straight to L. I'm Parker Edmiston here with my co-host Doug Tinkham. We're on WTKI in Huntsville and WEKI in Decatur. We have a special guest with us today from Fleet Feet and a sponsored segment, and that is Miss Jennifer Carroll. Jennifer, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank
All
you.
the triathletes in North Alabama will know Jennifer. She has been a triathlete for a number of years, a multiple Ironman finisher, and Jennifer, it's great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
A lot of folks will remember also Jennifer had a horrific, terrible bike accident last year on the Arsenal when she was struck from behind by a pickup truck, and so that's some notoriety. And Jennifer, we've asked you to come in today to talk a little bit about how we can avoid those accidents in the future for other cyclists.
Oh, well, yes, then thank you again for having me. The first thing is, as we were riding, I was wearing my reflective vest because you can't ride on the Arsenal without it, and having those blinking lights is very important too.
You know, we can be as safe as we want to be. Today's word or phrase from Fleet Feet is reflective clothing. You had that on. You had the lights on. You were in the right position in your lane. But that doesn't stop the distracted driver.
Right.
And so you can take a lot of precautions. And all cyclists should take those precautions, but that doesn't mean that you can avoid all the risk.
That's correct. Yes.
Well, you've talked, Parker, before about having your head on a swivel, and I think that's something we all need to practice because I can't turn my head without swerving, but I've noticed that you are able to do it pretty easily.
Well, we want to make it as safe as possible. And Jennifer, you were riding with someone that day, weren't you?
Yes, I was riding with Joanna Wizenant. And we were in our right lane, and we were riding single file. I was behind her, and we were still hit from behind.
And it was a multiple lane area as well,
Yes, it
going
was.
on to the Arsenal after you passed the guard shack or the folks that check your ID there. What do you think caused the accident? Just the distraction of the driver?
It was. What happened was, of course, Joanna and I were in the right lane, in the far right lane. The truck was coming up behind us, but a motorcycle had come up on his left side. And the truck driver got distracted by that motorcycle coming in and looked over and didn't see me and hit me from behind.
You mentioned you were riding single file,
Yes.
and I mean I've always wondered, is it better to ride single file or double file to be more visible?
Well, you have to.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Joanna and I were riding a while back. I think it was in Mooresville, and we actually got stopped by a cop. And because we weren't riding single file, we were
Yeah.
riding together.
It depends on the municipality you're in and the area that you're in. Some have different laws than others. And, when you have cyclists, multiple ones riding together, they have reflective clothing on, they have the bright lights, you think that would be enough. But, again, distracted drivers, there's no cure for that.
That's true.
And so you got injured. I came to see you in the hospital several times. You're in today and you're walking, bless your heart, thankfully. How's your rehab going?
It's going good. I'm going twice a week for an hour each time, and it's going real well. We're trying to work. I'm walking with a walker right now. We're trying to graduate me to a cane, which is very scary. Because I have no mobility in my feet or ankles. I have a spinal cord injury. And then eventually graduate to walking with nothing.
Now, are you doing all your physical therapy, Jennifer? Are you doing
Yes.
it all?
Probably like
Yes.
you're doing
Are
all
you
your
doing
training.
it all? Yeah.
Yes.
No. All right. Don't cheat. Now.
Yeah, I'm not cheating. No.
Okay. Now you have. Are you still wearing the not the cast but the braces on your ankles?
Yes, I am. I have to.
Okay.
But I've been freed of the back brace, as you can tell.
Well, you know, and one thing, it's horrible to get hit. It's horrible to have that kind of an accident. But Jennifer had such a level of physical fitness that probably saved her life that day, and probably is making it a little easier on your rehab. That you were very physically fit. Last year when you were hit, how many Ironman, for instance, had you signed up for 2015?
Well, for 2015, I've got 2 Ironmans.
And you,
Last year, I had 3 that I was training for. Louisville, Chattanooga, and Arizona.
okay, and you deferred those to 2015. They have allowed you to do that.
Yes.
Okay, and your prognosis for the future, I mean, you're going to go from, they say take baby steps. You're taking those baby steps to get back to some level of physical fitness. Are you doing weight training now?
Yes, I am. I'm doing weight training as part of my physical therapy. And I'm doing spin classes, and I'm swimming.
Okay. And so have you noticed a difference, obviously, or have those around you noticed a difference when you started this physical training then and where you're at now?
Yes. Yes.
Now, Fleet Feet has come in, and as always, they're a great sponsor of this program and a great sponsor of this segment. What do they have there at Fleet Feet as far as the reflective clothing and such for runners and cyclists? Because reflective clothing is also for runners.
Yes, it is. And they have a wide variety of vests, shirts, jackets, all reflective gear that you could want. And they also have the blinking lights that I've
Well,
purchased.
I think I'm surprised that you see in the news from time to time, obviously the bike accidents, but you also see news articles where runners get hit again by distracted drivers. And we've had this debate, I think, sometimes on this show about bike riders who go out ninja style, I call it, and that's a black kit.
Invisible pedestrian.
Yeah, and so you really got to make yourself as visible as possible
You do.
for those cars out there. Because most people, and Jennifer will know this, most people don't survive an accident like you went through.
I'm very lucky to be here.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
And so the reflective clothing from Fleet Feet, the lights are very important. Matt Blevins talked to us in a recent show about riding in groups. But you were on a path that day, that morning, on I would think would be one of the most heavily traveled bike routes in Huntsville. We bike out there on the Arsenal and did it all the time.
Yes.
And so you had to feel safe that day.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll still bike out on the Arsenal because despite what happened to me, there's not much traffic and there's no dogs to come chasing after you, and I'll still bike out there when I get my new bike.
All right. Well, what kind of bike are you going to get?
Whatever Blevins has.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
I'm gonna go see him and within the next couple weeks and.
Well,
Try to
Matt's
get back
actually
on.
going to be here today later on for a segment. So
He sure is. He's
well,
probably in the lobby.
We can wrestle him down to the ground and get you a good deal today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also had a helmet on, as always. What happened to your helmet that day?
It was destroyed. And just like my bike was.
Yeah. If folks have seen pictures, I think she's posted a few, and friends have, of her bike helmet that was crushed. And, you need no more visible sign of safety and the need for safety than seeing that crushed helmet. That would have been fatal, I'm certain. Listen, Jennifer, it's always great to see you and great to have you in here today. Thanks for Fleet Feet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, and good luck on your recovery. And we'll be back right after these messages.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jennifer.
Good job, Jen.
Everybody likes an alert drunk. Nothing I'm saying, just. Welcome back, everybody. Another segment of Swim Bike Run Alabama, sponsored to you by Straight to L Brewery here in Huntsville, the makers of the finest beer in the Southeast,
Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk. We're here right now at this segment, though, with Matt Blevins. Blevins Bicycle Company, as y'all know, is down in Whitesburg Drive.
As far as you can go.
As far as you can go on Whitesburg Drive. Matt, thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're getting questions on our website and Facebook page about gearing and about cassettes for road bikes. Can you explain to us a little bit about the gears on a bike for those who are just getting into cycling?
Well, just to start, there's, as far as the crank goes, there is a standard versus a compact. That's some terminology that everybody's going to hear when they're choosing a bike or choosing their gears.
Well, hold on now. What's a crank? Is that big thing up front?
That's your front set of gears directly below your butt when you're pedaling. That's what your feet are connected to.
Okay. Now that crank, you're going to have different cassette sizes, even in a
That's a chain ring
standard,
on the crank.
right?
Yeah, those are going to be on standard versus compact. Your chainring size is going to differ. On a standard, you're typically looking at a 5239. Some tri-bikes will come with a 5339.
All right. So let's even get even geekier than that, or at least explain it more. The 53 is the number of cogs that are
Exactly.
in that.
So when you look at, say, a 5239, the 52 refers to the large chainring in the front, and the 39 is going to refer to the small chainring in the front.
Okay, and that's just the number of cogs that are in that wheel.
That's the number of teeth that
Okay,
are on
then
there.
the teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, and then some people go to a compact.
A compact.
Smart people go to a compact.
Now, the
or
difference-
slow people.
Yeah, the difference between a standard and a compact is how many teeth are on the chain rings. So instead of having a 52 on the big chain ring, you're going to have a 50. And then on the small chain ring, instead of a 39, you're going to have a 34. And what that does is the lower the number of teeth on the chain ring, the lower gear you have. So the easier it is to spin.
Okay, so if you're going to, part of your riding, you go up hills or you climb.
Exactly, yeah.
So you want to have the smaller compact so it's easier for you to climb up hills.
Exactly. We see that. There's a lot of people who run a standard and have to switch over to a compact. And it's not because they're not fit. It's just that it makes it easier for them to ride, and especially during races, to ride on a compact. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, there's a lot of triathletes and a lot of road cyclists that end up going with a standard because it's better for them. Now, granted, it will be a lot bigger gear to push up hills, but if you've got the fitness, it is overall.
So if you're just going to stay on the flatland, then you can stay with the bigger crank up front.
You
and
can.
You don't
Now,
have to go to
yeah. And it all depends on fitness, too, fitness and strength of each individual.
The compact kind of replaced the triple, didn't it?
It did. There used to always be your standard versus your triple, and then the compact came out. So overall, lowering the number of the teeth on the chain rings, instead of having 3 gears in the front, there's only 2.
Okay. And so you've got the crank up front, and then you've got a cassette that's on your rear wheel.
Yeah, your cassette is the set of gears in the back. Most people either 8, 9, 10, or now 11 speed. And what that is, that actually works the opposite as the crank when you look at teeth. So the larger the number of teeth on the crank, the higher your gear is going to be. The more teeth on your cassette, the lower your gear is going to be.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, are there standards there? Do you start at the low end of having 11, 26, 27, 28? Or?
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot of cassettes. There's tons of different combinations. They either start at 11 teeth or 12 teeth, and then typically go up on, say, road or tri-bikes, 25, 27.
Oh, keep going.
28.
Yeah, keep going.
You
Keep
can do
going.
30.
30, that's it,
And
30.
now they're actually offering road rear derailleurs that will accept a 32.
That's a SRAM, though, isn't it?
And Shimano.
Oh,
will do the
Shimano
same
does
thing,
that,
yeah.
too.
Okay, Matt, I want to order a 32 today.
I want a
So-
52.
Well, I want a 52, but if they only go 32, I'm ordering a 32 today.
You may have to change your derailleur, though, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing you want to look at is what your derailleur will actually take. How many teeth can that rear derailleur accept in your low gear?
I don't care if the 32 makes me ride a derailer looks like a kickstand. I want it. I tried to chase Doug up Skyline Mountain last week, and he motored away from me. And the 32, obviously, you can probably climb a tree with it.
It gives you a lot lower gear. You can almost wheelie up a hill at that point. That's in the realm of mountain bike gearing at that point. But for some people, that's what they need to get up hills. And if it's what gets you to the top of the hill, that's really all that matters, right?
Well, yeah, and especially in North Alabama, you got a ton of places where you can climb, and I love to climb. Doug's getting there to where he loves to climb. And
As long as I get a 30, they're compact.
Well, it helps. It loves to climb in a 30. Just think how good it would be in a 32.
It would be better.
Matt, a great wealth of information again. Blevins Bicycle Company down there in Whitesburg, as far as you can go. Go down and see Matt Blevins at his shop. And Matt, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. And we'll be back right after these messages on Swim Bike Run Alabama. Oh, yeah, I want 32.
You got to get the long throw.
Just go the long cage.
Yeah.
Makes all the difference.
Are they all interchangeable? Shimano, SRAM? Is that? Welcome back, everybody, to another segment here at Swim Bike Run Alabama. Brought to you by Straight to L.
That's right. We've been waiting for this segment all day.
I've been waiting for this segment my whole lifetime, Doug. As everyone knows, Straight to L is a sponsor of Swim Bike Run Alabama, and we appreciate them being here today. We have Matt Broadhurst, Matt from Straight to L. We're broadcasting on WTKI in Huntsville, WEKI in Decatur. Matt, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. We really appreciate you guys having us down.
I discovered heaven some years ago right here in Huntsville, Alabama, when I walked into Straight to L.
That's what happened to me, too.
Tell us, how did you get involved with the Straight to L?
I personally have been with Straight to L in some capacity for 4 years now. Actually fell into it with Dan Perry, our owner. They actually on Facebook had put out some T-shirt designs they were looking at doing, and everybody kind of panned them. I have a graphic design background. I whipped together a shirt in like 10 seconds and just sent it to him. He sent me back a private email, said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Matt Broadhurst." Oddly enough, there's a Brewfest next weekend. He said, "Come find me." Went and found him. Started doing all sorts of graphics for him, and then over the years have progressed to where I'm at now, which is full-time.
Best job application ever.
Yeah, just good guys.
We've seen that from when we've been in there.
The graphic design, there's nothing better in my mind than someone who can take an idea and put it on paper, put it on the computer, and you've got this cool image, Monkey Nut, everyone knows the image there.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to have a jersey with any of the Straight to L logos on. So you went to graphic design, you went to the Brewfest, and what happened from there?
I met Dan. We got along great. It was right before the tap room opened. He said, "Man, you got to come down to the grand opening of the tap room." So I did. Met some of the other owners. At that point, we only had one full-time employee, which was Henry Hiller, which was our original paid employee that we ever had. Started with us when we were over at the old Lincoln Mill. Got along with all those guys. Kind of just started hanging out at the brewery. Before you know it,
Not a bad place to hang out.
You're helping run the canning line, and they're like, they kind of realize you're a responsible guy, and they start giving me more and more. And
so if I was to show up, say every time you open, there could be some possibility for employment.
Odds are yes, because that seems how everybody gets a job there.
Well, you've been warming up to that, Doug, now ever since I've known you. So
since I turned 18.
I see you quite often. 21 in the state of Alabama, my friend.
Not that many years ago,
Okay.
wasn't.
And so Lehman Ferry is the location now. We'll talk about the plans later for the new place. But folks can go now to Straight to L, and you have a tap room. And when's the tap room open?
Tap room is open every day. Open at 3. We're next week changing the hours on our Friday, Saturdays. Normally it's till 10. Fridays, Saturdays we're going to start staying open till 11.
And at the tap room, folks can go in and try the beer that's made by Straight to L. And you've got how many varieties now that you're actually brewing?
We've got 18 beers on the schedule for this year. We always have 10 on tap in the tap room at any given time.
And those go from what an ale to a stout, or
So we start with it. We almost always have our lightest song, which is our St. Allen Lighthouse, which is one of our core brands. It's the lightest thing we make. Real easy drinking, German style Kolsch. We use that as our intro, our gateway, because people you get people that come into the tap room never drank a craft beer before, so they're scared. They think craft, they think dark, they think heavy flavors.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah. You get them converted with a real light, crisp, easy drinking beer, and they're like, man, I didn't know this was craft beer. And before you know it, they go to a Brother Joseph's, which is our Belgian Double, a little bit darker, a little bit richer. Before you know it, they're drinking like a Russian Imperial Stout, barrel aged.
Leica is a fantastic beer.
I thought Milk Stout was my favorite until I had the
Leica is fantastic.
Leica this year has treated us awesome.
Yeah.
The barrel aged bourbon won us a platinum medal. It's gotten rated in top 10 lists all over the country. It's treated us really well this last year.
Well, listen, we're out of time for this segment, but Matt's going to be with us next week's show. And listen, if you're in Huntsville, Alabama, and you want the best beer known to man, go to Straight to Ale down
If
on
you're
Oregon Ferry.
anywhere and want the best beer known to man,
You need to be coming
Ask
from
for it.
Europe to get some of this stuff.
that's it. Ask for Straight to Ale.
Straight to Ale here on Swim Bike Run Alabama. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Cough now.